So welcome to another episode here on Sandy Bay Media. Make sure to give us a like and a follow on Facebook and Instagram. We're joined by the good folks at Maidstone United, and we're going to get to know a little bit about them. Over to you, Hannah.
Hi guys, so I'm Hannah Bourke here. We're going to do a little piece on Maidstone United today. So we've got Rosalie, Warren and Michael here. So each of them are going to tell us who they are, how long they've been at the club and their role at the club. So we'll start off with Rosalie.
So I am part of the senior women's team and also help the club with the communications and marketing side of things. I've been at the club for about 3 years now, and so far it's been really, really good.
Awesome. Warren?
So I've been at the club for the last 7 years now. Been a veteran at the club. Currently my role is the junior coordinator. I've been heavily involved with the club over the last 5 years within the committee. So, yeah.
Awesome. And Michael?
I joined the club a year before Warren, so I've been around for about 8 years now. Started off as a player, fell in love with the club, fell in love with the people. Warren actually asked me to join the committee, and I did that a few years back and just stuck at that now. Finished up playing and now taken over as president. This will be my second year doing that.
Excellent. So branching off of that, what do you guys think the club is about, like your values and your philosophy, your aim as a club?
I'll jump in. We just want to be an all-inclusive club. We're very community-focused. We want to engage with everyone in our local community, from players, families, local businesses, schools. We really work hard to engage with our local council as they're a key factor in our operation at the club. We're very focused on being all-inclusive. We're not specific to any one type of person or demographic. We're very open, and we just want to be that go-to place for football in the Inner West.
Awesome.
And just jump in for a second. Speaking of community engagement, are there certain programs that you've run or the club's run over the last 8 years, whether on or off the field?
Mainly on the field is where we do a lot of our work. We're starting to branch out. Obviously, we've had a lot of growth in the last probably 6 or 7 years, which has forced us to go and engage better with the local businesses to gain sponsorship. We never really had that in those early days, and now we've got to do a lot more work in that area. On top of that, outside of off the pitch, I guess, we're trying to engage further with schools. We've now got a Mini Roos program up and running. It's been going for 2 years, and it's been a great success for the club. Warren can touch on that a little bit later. This year would have been our very first year of introducing junior teams. So we started off with the 8s, 10s and 12s. Unfortunately, we've been struck by the COVID virus. Yeah. So that's sort of all been put on hold. But, all things were looking very positive. Despite the lockdown, we still managed to get back on our feet, get it up and running again for a second time. But unfortunately, we've been hit again.
So what would you guys say? Would you say the engagement over the past 2 years that you've had that Mini Roos program, do you think that that's skyrocketed over probably that second year?
Yeah, I might jump in. So, initially we started off the Mini Roos program, like Mick said, last year. I think the early participation, we had probably about 20 participants in the first term, and throughout the year, we just continued to see the program grow and grow in big numbers. We've moved into this year, and I think we've got about 80 to 90 participants participating in that program, which has been great. And a number of the people participating in that program are like people within the area. So within that Maidstone, Maribyrnong area that have come across. So look, we're really pleased with the growth of that, and believe that the growth of that Mini Roos program will lead into the growth of our junior program in years to come.
Excellent. All right. So What are the achievement or programs and initiatives that the club would like to share? Have you got anything besides the mini roos, or can you expand on that at all?
So yeah, just we got, like Mick said, we're going to get out. Our plans were to have 3 junior teams participating this year. Mm-hmm. So we had our under 8s, under 10s, and under 12s. So basically, we received like a great response. So the initial response was good, but so be it. We went into lockdown. Once we came out of lockdown, we received an even bigger response to that junior program. Okay. So I guess our goal is, even though we've gone into lockdown and, you know, it doesn't look like the season's going to proceed, our goal is to expand that program and make it even bigger moving into 2021. We've got big hopes for that program. And we want to give back to the community, especially the kids within the community. We want to give something back to them, and give them a place where they can participate in a community club.
Brilliant. And just a question for Rosa. Can you just expand and just tell us a little bit about the women's program?
So the women's team first started up with the club in 2014. They saw a lot of success. They had won the league, I think, 2 times over. Warren, you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
They won it in 14, and runners up the following year.
Oh, there we go, runners up. So they had a really, really strong team, and I was lucky enough to join more towards the end of those inaugural girls, and had a chance to get to know them, and they were great. They were so welcoming. But, you know, women's football, we tend to go off and have babies. So the team's actually quite new within the last year or so. But again, the main thing that we've been able to maintain is that real family feel. And every member who's come to join us has said the same thing. Everyone's so welcoming, and it's a really good team to be a part of. So for us, it's exciting to have such a strong history with the women's team, but now this opportunity to again grow that, get new people into the club and keep it moving from there. So it's a really good club to be a part of, from my side of things, not just from a playing perspective, but also just a social side of things.
And is there any initiatives that the club want to run or are looking forward to running in the near future? Any of you?
Anything that hasn't
Well, there's
been...
a lot. Like Mick said, the community engagement side of things is going to be pretty big for us. We're trying to look at how we can further support local businesses and vice versa. It's more so not just going to be about come and sponsor our club and help us, but how can we help, you know, showcase your own business, and what can we do to help enhance your business? So it's more so going to be a partnership rather than just, you know, come out and help our club grow. Aside from that, it's looking at other ways to get involved in the community. We were part of Refugee Week with the local council and just talking about how being part of a local soccer club, or, you know, any sporting club really, can help people feel more welcome when they've come from, you know, different countries or whatever the case is like that.
Exactly. And I think that's a great initiative, and the business side, getting more businesses involved and interacting and having a partnership. And also, as you mentioned, the refugee programs and giving back to the community rather than just taking. That's great to hear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the other thing we've been doing, which we're not going to get the opportunity to do this year, we've run a couple of fundraisers over the last couple of years. Last year we did the Pink Sock Day, which we raised, I think it was about $1,500 for the, correct me, which federation is that, Rose? The Pink Sock Day?
That was for breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
Yeah.
And then a few years before, we always run a charity, what do we call the Robert Cursio match? A memorial match for a past player who unfortunately passed away with cancer at quite a young age. So that's a tradition of the club. And a few years back, we actually raised about $3,500 for Peter Mack Foundation, which was a massive effort. Great day. They're one of the highlights on the calendar for us.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear.
The other side of things is we just got access this year to a new facility, which we had plans to do a lot more fundraising and events that were going to help different charities, help the club, but unfortunately COVID had other plans, and that's kind of taken a back seat. But definitely something that we're still looking forward to doing in 2021. Obviously, we have to see how things pan out, but yeah, it was going to be a very exciting year for us. And then, like all other clubs, plans changed.
Well, it looks like 2021 will be a list of events every week going on.
Definitely, we have to make up for what we've missed out on.
Exactly, just making up on, and plenty of thinking and time to plan now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Are there any last notes or anything you guys would like to add? Or Hannah, would you like to ask anything?
Probably Rosalie, as a senior player, do you guys engage with the juniors a lot, or is it more of a coaching sort of player thing?
There was a plan to, but because, again, of COVID, our training schedule changed. We had to limit the amount of people that were at the club. But there were plans to get all senior players, both men's and women's, involved more with the juniors. But unfortunately, that didn't end up happening.
And just to touch on that, we do have that engagement through the Mini Roos program. So we've got current and past players that participate and help out the club throughout that program. So we've had some of the women's players come and assist, and we've had some of the men's players assist. And we offer that engagement throughout our playing group that provide their experience to our junior participants as well.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, it's a great way to help the Mini Roos feel part of the whole club as well.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the players don't tend to see them, so it's good.
Absolutely. Okay, I've probably got one last question for Warren and Michael, because you guys have been veterans for so long. How do you think that you guys have grown over those last 7 or 8 years in terms of the community and all that sort of stuff?
If you want me to jump in there was first. So the club, I'll go a little bit further back than that to start with. The club started off in 1987. It was founded by the Larian community of Melbourne, who are a group of people who've come from the island of Leros in Greece, and they've set up this club in 1987 in the inner west. I think they started off at Hanson Reserve. Eventually, they moved around a little bit in that inner west area and landed in Maidstone in 2005. So we've been there in Maidstone for 15 years. During that time, more recent times, with myself and Warren involved, the name changed from Leros United to Maidstone United in 2014, and that's when we entered the Federation Football Victoria. We joined. And we started entering our women's team and our metro team. So from that point, in those early years, the club was predominantly single or 2 men's teams. And from once we changed to Maidstone, that really opened the floodgates up to the local community. And we were almost knocking people back at one point. And that's forced us to just grow exponentially. In 2014, we started with 3 teams. A few years later, we added a 4th. 5th. Now we're up to 8 when we include our juniors, and 9 if you consider our Mini Roos another team.
Yep.
So our volume of numbers, participation wise, and as Warren mentioned earlier, we it's all our players are predominantly coming from that local vicinity. Half of them are almost walking to the club, and others have got a short drive to the club. So that's been a massive positive. The growth has just been ongoing every year. So from that 2014 year to now, we've gone from about 30 members to about 180 all up, which has been fantastic.
Absolutely. All right. Nothing else anybody would like to add?
Warren?
I think we've covered a lot.
I think we've covered a lot.
Everything.
We're happy? We're happy with that? Cool. All right. Well, we thank you guys so much for coming on and talking to us and giving us a little bit of insight to your club. And obviously it's sad COVID's not, obviously your season's gone, but hopefully next year we'll be able to start where you left off and keep growing the community year by year.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's the plan.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.